Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from sarah@akwisombe.com. I thought it would be really cool to start doing a weekly Q&A where you guys can send in your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm really sorry about this noise. Someone downstairs has decided they're going to do some building or something. I'm such a homebody, so I love like anything that when you come home you're just like, oh, that looks so nice, or you know, you do one little thing and it can change your whole outlook of a room. So I thought it would be really cool to start answering your questions and give you some little tips as to how I would maybe like style things or put different things together and things like that. So here we go. So the first question that I got through was from my good friend Eliza. Hi Eliza! She asked me how she can mix patterns without looking tacky, and it's actually a question that comes up a lot. I've got 3 really easy tips as to how you can do this and make it look wicked rather than weird. So my first tip for mixing patterns without it looking completely tacky is to use the 80-20 principle. So use 80% of one pattern or one print and 20% of another. And this stops it looking like too crazy, and it's a good place to start if you haven't really done clashing or mixing of patterns before. The 80-20 principle works across like so many different things like marketing and like promotion of the why is everything business related? Just look it up, just go and Google it, trust me. 80-20 principle. Just use 2 prints or 2 patterns, 80% of one, 20% of the other. The second step is to use a similar colour palette that runs throughout your 2 clashing patterns or prints. That doesn't mean they need to be the same colour, but they need to have a similar colour palette going on. You need to basically look at the colours that are in the room that you're trying to put the accessories or the patterns in, and try and pick out like 5 or 6 colours that are running throughout your room. In this room, for instance, it's black, white, grey, green, pink, and probably like a wood material, so it's sort of like a dark brown. For instance, I might use this pink cushion and I might go out and try and find like a crazy William Morris type pattern that's got this green and this pink throughout it, or as close as I can to it. Probably wouldn't do that in here just because I've already got this pretty crazy wallpaper going on, so anything else in here might be a bit overload. But saying that, we use these blankets in here. Reason being, it's kind of very similar to the wall, but it's in a bigger version of the print, and obviously it's not in the same pattern, it's just stripes, but it's kind of the same colour palette, but it's just a bigger, bolder version of what's on the wall. I think that works really well, and I actually really like that in here. You could also, instead of looking at things in the same colour palette, you could look at bigger or smaller versions of your pattern. Colour palette and sticking within the colour palette is a great way to make things feel like they're a whole, you know, seem like they're part of a cohesive scheme, or that you've actually kind of thought about it. So that's my second tip, colour palettes, and make sure you try and use 2 prints or 2 patterns that are from the same colour palette. My third tip, and the most important tip, is you can only do this if you have confidence. If you don't do this with confidence, it will look whack. When it comes to like doing stuff like clashing prints or clashing patterns or clashing colours, you just have to have a bit of a like, this is gonna look good, I'm gonna let it happen. I buy a lot of antiques and vintage things, and people are always like, well, how can you make them look good together? There's just too much going on. But it's just kind of like, it needs to be you, and it needs to be like how you put the stuff together. So if you like a little like miniature cowboy next to a... Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But what I'm saying is you need to have confidence when you do this. Like, just go for it. It's gonna look cool as long as you stick within the colour scheme of your room and stick with the 80-20 principle. You're not gonna go wrong. Come on Lilies, be confident. So those are my 3 tips as to how you can really easily mix patterns and prints together without looking like you have gone crazy at a jumble sale, which no one really wants that. I hope they work for you. I would love to see you guys put the 3 tips into use, and please send me your pictures. I love it when I see people taking pride and getting excited about doing new stuff in their home. Cheers guys! Oh, and you need to help me come up with a name for this segment. Sarah's Secrets? please go ahead and check out my other videos and send me some questions for next time. If you've got questions for the next week Q&A, which by next week it won't be called Q&A, it will have a really cool catchy name, put them in the comments below and I'll pick out the best one and answer it next week. So thanks very much for joining me in my first Q&A that won't be called Q&A next week. Bye!